Hello and welcome back to the Ash and Stone channel. My name is Chris and today I would like to give you a rundown on the foam tile terrain system I use. So I get them from the local hardware store and they come in packs of 4 for about 10 New Zealand dollars, which is around about £5 I guess. Inside you find plain mats, one side with the texture and the other side smooth. I've done a range of them, finished in various schemes, such as bare stone texture, desert, and then of course your classic green. I've been using them for about 2 years now, and they are cheap, flexible, lightweight, and I can stack them without damage to the ones below, and they're securely locked together, just like so. They come at about 600 by 600 millimeters, or 2 foot by 2 foot, so you can quickly put together a 6x4 or 4x4 battlefield with 4 to 6 of them. After that, you just slap on some terrain and you're ready to go. They are not perfect though. You can get some warping, although because of the flexible nature of them, they can be flexed back, and when interlocked with another tile, they line up without issue. And because PVA glue isn't as flexible as the foam, it's resulted in some cracking and chipping along the teeth. It's pretty minor, but that's the biggest drawback of this system. So they're not the be-all and end-all of battlefields, they're simply another tool in your toolbox. Let's give you a quick explanation on how to make them. Grab yourself a tile. This tile will have a T intersection for my roads, and because the mats are 12mm or half an inch thick, we can work features down into the surface of the foam. I'm going to use a bit of sandpaper and gouge out some tracks along the road surface. Once that's done, I'll give the mat a couple of coats of paint, as close a match to the grout I use for basing as possible. I used to just glue grout directly to the foam for this step, but I found that paint is more flexible than the PVA and grout and is less likely to cause cracking. After the first coat, I decided the road needs to be deeper, so I just rip out more foam using the sandpaper and then paint over the top. Once the paint is dry, I apply a coat of PVA glue to the road surface. Then sprinkle a layer of grout mixed with soil over the glue. This will add the road texture. I also lightly sprinkle a bit of grout around in other areas, so that if I end up with bare patches when I put the grass down, there'll be a little bit of texture there. Once the grout is sprinkled on, I hit it all with a spray of isopropyl alcohol, and then watered down PVA from a spray bottle. Any excess is then dabbed off with a paper towel and it's left to dry. Once the glue is dry, I paint on a coat of PVA anywhere I want grass. It's bloody hot here today, so I'll do it in sections so the glue doesn't dry part way through. I then apply 2mm static grass using a static grass applicator. This particular grass is Spring from War World Scenics. When applying the grass to the road, I paint on strips and patches of PVA in a fairly haphazard fashion. Medieval roads do not wear the same way as modern roads, so I try to avoid having 2 long hollows from vehicle wheels. Without waiting for the glue to dry, I spray some watered down PVA glue onto the central areas of the grass and dab a bit onto the strips in the road using a brush. Then, using the static grass applicator, I apply 4mm static grass. I try to avoid applying anything but 2mm grass on the edges of the mat, because if I keep the edges one colour, they'll be able to match any of my other boards easily. After the 4mm static grass, I grab some fine turf from Woodland Scenics and sprinkle on patches in a couple of spots in the grass and along the road edges. The fine turf does a great job representing low-growing weeds. This is followed by sprinkling dried and ground leaves and tea taken from tea bags around the place to add dead leaves and other various bits and pieces around the area. I try to avoid getting anything in the main thoroughfares of the road, focusing the turf and leaves next to the grass. Once finished here, I pop outside and give the whole mat a spray with IPA and watered down PVA. About 20 minutes later, while the PVA in the grass is still wet, but the road surface itself is dry, I grab some beige grout directly from the bag and brush it along the road surface. This makes the areas that are more travelled lighter and really helps sell the effect of the road. This is followed up with another spray of IPA and PVA, and the board is left to dry. And there we are, all done. So there's probably about half an hour of actual work in each of these boards. Most of the time is spent waiting for the glue to dry at the end of it all. Anyway, thank you for sticking around. I do hope this has been helpful or given you some ideas, and we shall see you next time. Cheers.